Salam alaikum. I am really very, very honored to be here with you today, and I'm so energized by a room full of such beautiful jewels and gems. I come from Somaliland, and many of you will probably wonder where Somaliland is, and you probably will think that, oh, she doesn't know how to pronounce the name of a country. But I do. There was La Côte Française des Somalie, which is French Somaliland and former French colony, and now Djibouti. I'm from British Somaliland Protectorate, and a lot of you know about La Repubblica Somala, which was the Italian colony of Somalia, on which you all are very familiar with, and Black Hawk Down, and the pirates, and the terrorists, and recently Tom Hanks. I am not from here. I'm from Somaliland. And nothing happens there except that it's a poor country, it's not recognized, and it's a country where we just get on with life. We try to rebuild our country. We've had a long war, country destroyed, and unfortunately I have to show you this, because this is one of the things that has made me go home. I've had privileges that very, very few women have had in this world. I've had privileges that very few women in my country have had. I'm alive, I'm 76. I have almost doubled the life expectancy of the women in my country. But when I saw this, and many of the heads and many of the skeletons here that of 3 or 4 or 5-year-old kids, how brave must you be to put 4 and 5-year-old kids into a mass grave? I cannot understand that. And when I've had, the privileges I've had, and I come home and I see that these things have happened, I say, I have a life pension. I've been a former First Lady. I've had chances to travel. And I think in Austin you probably have the President Johnson Museum here, when I have been hosted by your President and Johnson and others. I cannot turn my back. I must go home. I've got to do something about this, because I don't think I'd be able to stay down in a grave if I didn't use the opportunities I've had to at least make a small dent in all the disparities that exist in my country, and all the injustices and all the cruelties that have happened. I've got to do something about it. Somaliland, well, I think you all recognize President Johnson and Lady Bird, and me clutching my bunch of roses that were given to me by the former First Lady. The balls and the gowns, and of course, and Vice President Hubert Humphrey and Mrs. Humphrey and Lady Bird. These are the privileges I've had. And then I joined the UN, and this is in Germany, and there was Italy, and there was France, and there was wonderful hospitality, and all the pomp and the pageantry, and the 21-gun salutes, and these are privileges that I've got to do something with. And who are we? 20 million some people from Somaliland, or Somali-speaking people, live in the Horn of Africa. That Horn of Africa where they have droughts, where we have nomads, where we have rains fail, where people die because they have no food, where they have no education. Can you flip a bit faster, please? And it's a post-conflict country. So when you have poverty, you have lack of education, and you have droughts, and you have misery, and you have war, it's a very lethal cocktail that kills the weak. And who are the weak? Usually women. And who are also even weaker? The children. Somali women have one of the highest maternal mortality rates in the world. And if we compare developed countries with our country, 1,100 women die out of 100,000. In your situation, it's only 12. It's 1,000 times more. 1 in 13 dies of birth-related and pregnancy-related causes. With you, it's 1 in 4,000. Less than 10 women are attended by a trained health worker. In your case, it's everybody. Too few health facilities. You have health facilities everywhere. You have transportation, you have roads, you have communications, you have helicopters. You can evacuate somebody who has a problem here in a few seconds. They'll be in the best place to be looked after. But in our countries, none of these exist. And here I am about to retire with a big fat UN pension to go home to do what? I've had the signature bags, I've had the jewels, I know what it's like to have a beautiful car, but I had all of these things where we had roads. And what am I going to do with a Mercedes in a country like mine, where there are no roads, for goodness sakes? And what am I going to do with a beautiful Mercedes when we don't even have, the fuel for it? The clean, fuel to put in such a beautiful car. So I just recycled my whole life. Literally recycled myself, recycled my brain, the way I do things, the way I shop. Before I retired, I was every boutique's answer to their prayers. I would come into a city and say, where's the shopping area? And I would go, oh, I like that, that's blue. Oh, I like the green as well. Oh, I need to take this for my sister, and I need to take this for my friend. I would have shoes made, I would have gowns made, I would have, no, I don't like the beads here, no, can you put them a different, and they don't match my shoes, and can you do something about my bag? My God. A watch that would cost me something like $3,000 or $4,000, that's what I have to pay a doctor to work for us in 1 month. $3,000 for me, and I would break it, and I say, oh, this one's broken, it's no good. Can you get me the Patek Philippe instead? Can you get me the, I've had them all. But I'd rather spend my time and my energy and whatever has been invested in me to teach, to train, to leave behind an army of people who will have the heart and the desire to do something about what's happening in my country. We've had, in fact, this is, by the way, the second madness. I've been wanting to build a hospital since I was 11 years old, and I started to build one in Somalia. And before it was finished, that hospital was taken over by warlords, by terrorists, and the Kalashnikov. And my documents and my deeds and my papers and my licenses were no match to the bullet and the Kalashnikov. So I abandoned that, very angry, and saying, no, that's it. I've lost, I've tried, I've failed, that's it. From now on, I'm just going to live my life. And then I saw my country. I saw Somaliland with all those corpses and all those ruins and all the, everything destroyed. So I've come back, and I started building the hospital. And just built, and there's my baby. It took me 4 years. I was the plumber and the carpenter and the supervisor and I don't know what, and my first office was the shade of a tree, because there was nothing else. It's on a site that was once a garbage dump, once a killing ground, once an execution ground, but now I live on it. And that's my bedroom. Yes, my bedroom is bigger than the other windows. Pay for it. I paid almost $1 million to get that. So if that's what I get for my $1 million, so be it. This is my office. Also known as Edna's Observation Tower. The hospital is downstairs. This is the medical ward just below my bedroom. And at night, when I hear a child crying and crying and crying, I say, I come down, what are you doing to this child? It's been crying for 10 minutes. What are you doing to it? I live there. I am part of the hospital. I teach there. There's a training department, classrooms and bedrooms, and the hospital is here. We have the outpatients to one side. But then I don't want to take the credit for this. It's something that has put together with support from the world. And a lot of your taxpayers' money has flowed into this hospital. And the outpatients was built by USAID. The generator we used was donated by Denmark. The first incubator we had was donated by a woman who works in the Dutch embassy in Nairobi. And she saw a baby that we were trying to keep warm with hot water bottles, and she said, you need an incubator. Yeah, I need an incubator, but where am I going to get one? She said, you will get one. And a few weeks later, there was a big crate that came, and we had our first premature baby incubate. The beds were donated by all the, the first 30 beds we opened the hospital with were donated by Britain. And so were the cots. The operating theatres, we have some of the best operating theatres where we now do, we put in shunts and we operate on children with spina bifida. 50% of it was donated by the Fistula Foundation. So that hospital is everybody's support. And then I go around, I fundraise, and I said, please, don't buy me a tiara, don't buy me a silk gown, don't buy me a jewel, just buy me a bedpan. Buy me something. Get me some syringes, I need some catheters, I need some gloves. These are my priorities. These are my list of priorities. And above all of that, I just want to show you this. Out of the, well, this was a little bit old now. I mean, we're now in October. We've delivered 14,000 babies. And we've lost 48 mothers. Last year was the first year we had 0 maternal mortality. On the 3rd of January this year, we lost our first mother, and we've also lost a second one. We've lost 48 mothers. Now, 48 mothers out of 14,000, you may say, oh, that's okay. I said, no, it's not okay. It's 48 mothers who have died of causes they need not have died of. No woman should die of eclampsia. No woman should die of anemia. No woman should go into labor with a contracted pelvis. No woman should be allowed to have a baby with her pelvis. Her anatomy will not allow it. She should have had a C-section. Somebody should have picked up and said, pelvis contracted, disproportion. She needs a C-section, and she would have had an elective C-section before she goes into labor and her poor uterus ruptures. No woman should die of infection. Somebody would clean the equipment, somebody would sterilize the forceps, somebody would wash their hands, somebody would wear gloves before they deliver this woman. The old women who you saw in the documentary have no knowledge of bacteria and germs and infections. And you tell them, wash your hands because they may be dirty. She says, no, my hands, I washed them before I left out this morning. She says, yes, but there are bacteria. And she said, what do bacteria look like? Well, you can't really see them. I said, well, you can't see them, they don't exist. And she could, scratch, and she could do this, and, go in there. Infect the woman. No woman should die of that. And even if she did become infected, there would be antibiotics, and there would be antiseptics, and there would be things to take care of that infection. So what do we do? Can we aim for having hospitals like the ones you have? Of course we do not. We cannot. We don't have the means. We don't have the resources. We don't have the skills. We don't have the doctors. Yes, we do need doctors, but doctors take a long time. And doctors need hospitals. Doctors need equipment. Doctors need anesthesia. Doctors need a supportive team. So what do? Do we just sort of go away and say, well, we tried, we couldn't do anything about it? Or do we try and do whatever we can, do something about it? And not only because I'm a midwife that I think that midwives are important, but midwives can function and take care of 50 and 60% of the problems related to pregnancy and childbirth. So what do? We were training midwives that took 4 years. The doctors take 6 and 7 years. We don't have 4 years. We don't have 5 years. We don't have 6 years. Women are dying now. So you take a shortcut. You take whatever it takes to bridge that gap until such time as you will have the number of doctors that you need, the number of hospitals that you need, the type of equipment that you need. And at least 50 or 60% of the problems will be taken care of by community midwives. And the strategy I use is we take the map of my country and say, okay, now where do we have hospitals? Here. What about the satellite villages? Where do they have anything? No. Okay, well, get me 4 from there, get me 3 from there, get me 4 from there. And we give them a quota depending on the population density. Never train one alone, because if she has the flu and she falls down, breaks her arm, she's gone. Always have them at least in pairs, 3 and 4. You bring them in with the understanding that you will be trained back to your village. Don't get bogged down in a big city and the bright lights. So however humble it may be, it's still for her, Hargeisa, the capital, has the bright lights, has the shops, has the whatever. So they pledge that they will go back and they will work for their community where they are known, where they are trusted, that she's the daughter of so-and-so, she's the niece of so-and-so, she's the sister-in-law of so-and-so, where she is trusted and her advice will be respected and taken. And then we also take her when also the elders of that village give us that pledge that they will support these girls after they're trained. Because for the first time in the history of that village, there will be a young person, like Khalida, for instance, who I so much enjoy listening to, who will say, we need to take this woman to the nearest hospital at 2 o'clock in the morning. And the men will say, oh yeah, but it's nighttime, let's wait till the morning, let's wait till daybreak. And I say, if you give me the pledge that when Khalida says at 2 o'clock in the morning, we need to take that woman to the hospital, you will get up from your sleep and you will support Khalida to transport this woman, then I will train Khalida for you. But if you refuse to support her, then you do not want people to work for you, and we will train them for the next village. And this way they understand that there are others who are cooperative. And my goodness, these women, I'm sorry, I think, can you just go back a little bit? Just go back. Yeah. These women, the girls in red, these are 2-year community midwives, 2-year trained community midwives. These are from the villages. 3 and 4 from each village, and who go back. And they do make a whole lot of difference. These are the girls I swear by. These are the girls who are making a difference. These are the girls who the community trusts. And they take 2 years. Well, we trained them at first for 18 months, but then we were sending them to an environment where they were the only trained people, and 18 months was not alone. So now we have extended the training for 2 years, 24 months. It takes $4,000 to train every single one of them. These are the more advanced. These are the 4-year trained. These are the general nurses, and these are the midwives. And then, of course, we have the Bachelor of Science degree in midwifery, which is good. These are the only Bachelor of Science degree in midwifery that we graduated last year. That's good, but the ones that we really swear by are the community midwives. We don't discriminate against boys. I'm not going to go around killing any men because I need them. I need them. Babies need fun. But we train them to become part of the solution, not part of the problem. I need men who are trained, who are competent, who are motivated, and who will never become terrorists. None of these guys will ever go and blow themselves up. There's no Twin Towers that's going to suffer because one of these guys will blow themselves, because they know the value of education. They know the value of what it's like to be a health worker. We also have, I mean, come on, when Khadr started training, I never thought he was so shy and timid. I thought, my God, I mean, I'm used to girls being timid, but when it comes to a man, he doesn't even want to look at me. Now he heads the laboratory. He heads the laboratory because he's competent, he's a scientist, and he's somebody who knows what it's like to be a health professional. We have, well, it's the hospital which started as maternity is now general. Sometimes we have more men than women. We have old men, we have young men, we have accidents. It's a general hospital. And we operate 24 hours a day. We never close. We have a blood bank. We have the immunization. And anybody can come from anywhere. I don't care about what color, what religion, what region, what political affiliation they have. They have a health problem, and we can deal with it, and we just do it. We also have the visiting doctors who come to us from the US and from Canada and from Australia, and who do the surgical camps. Today, a little maternity hospital, on that dump, garbage trash dump, where they used to kill people, is now a hospital where we are able to put shunts in little children who have hydrocephalus, and operate on children who have spinal bifida, we operate on surgical contractures. We don't do eyes because we don't have an ophthalmologist. I wish we did. But whatever we can, and we know we are doing it well, and we have the expertise who will help us do it, we do. Now, you probably will think that that was my only headache. I'm bipolar. I now have a university as well. And why would I want to do that? Because I found so many disparities in the services that women were receiving and the education of women. I have a country where we have almost 300,000 children going to school. 40% of them are girls. We have over 1,000 school teachers. How many do you think out of those 1,000 would be women? 30. Come on. If you have 40% of children who are girls, you need more female teachers. These girls have to know about hygiene, about all the curriculum and the education, yes, to do the maths and the science and the history and the biology and the chemistry, but they also need to know about women things, hygiene, how to become a mother, life sciences for a woman, domestic science. They need to know about child spacing. Okay, you don't want to call it family planning? I don't care. A rose by any name, sweet. And one of the usual things I say is, you know, I don't care if you have 200 babies. Just don't have one for the next 3 years. That's all. That's all I'm asking for. But you can have 200 babies if you want. That's not my problem. But you cannot have one for the next couple of years because you've just had a C-section. You're anemic. You have this uncontrolled diabetes. You have la. Don't get pregnant for the next 3 years. So would you please get me your husband and we can explain to him. And I will not explain to him, but this male doctor will, and they can talk man to man about how not to get you pregnant for the next 3 years. Can you do that for me, please? And that's how we get them. Of course, we have, the big problem we have is about also FGM. That's one of my biggest headaches. And I know that you will online, you will see that we do a lot of research. 97% of our women are still being subjected to female circumcision, or female cutting, or female genital mutilation. With all the problems that we've had, you add this to it. And if we don't fight it, and if we don't get rid of this, we will not be able to get rid of fistula, and all the complications, and the lacerations, and the sphincter incompetence, and the bladder incompetence that it brings. So who do we use? Do we bring in the Marines? No, we do not. Do we bring in the guns? No, we do not. We train nurses and midwives. We train other women to talk to other women. And if we think that this is not working, we also get the fathers. Because this girl has a father and a mother. And her father must also have a say in this, as the head of the family. And since this practice is not a religious requirement, Islam does not require that female be circumcised, then we get the sheikhs and the imams to come and talk about it and say, well, don't leave me, a silly old woman, to talk about this. You're the sheikh, you got a bigger beard than I have, you got a bigger turban than I have, you talk about it. And these are the only ways we can fight it. Now, the moral of the story is, with determination, you can get wherever you need to go. And if your heart tells you to do it, don't get stopped by anybody. You know you're doing right, your heart is pushing you to it, teach your hands to do it. And get your feet to walk towards it. If I could count all the obstacles I've had before I could get to building this hospital, it would be taller than Mount Everest. But then if you have obstacles, you find ways to overcome it. And if you believe that what you want is going to save lives, you say, maybe I cannot do it this way, but I will try to do it this other way. Be determined, be strong, be encouraged by the small achievements you make. Don't look at the big picture in the back, but look at the small battles you have won. Small battles. It's small battles that help you win a war. You know, the little things that you get. Girls going to school. Now I want to train 50 school teachers, because we do not have enough teachers who are female. And if I can train 50 teachers, school teachers, 50 females, that will have a trickle-down effect to get more women trained, who I can get into health services or into any other services they wish to, and they will be empowered, they will have jobs, they will be educated, and they will be part of the solution, not among the problems. So the moral of the story is, if Somaliland, a country in the Horn of Africa that is known for death and destruction, can help save the lives of its women through the training of its women, anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. And it's with the support of people like you that we are where we are. My UN pension helps, yes. The honorarium I get here and there, and I speak here and speak there in Geneva and wherever, helps, yes. But I'm 76, and I will not be there forever. And the day I will kick the bucket, my UN pension will stop. And I would like to leave a legacy behind. The gift that I wish to leave my people is the gift of knowledge. So there will be thousands of women who will be going after the same things and the same causes that I am chasing after. Time is against me. My knees are also getting to be against me. I didn't know that the enemy was going to come from within me. But with people like you, I know we will do it. I know we will get there. And thank you for giving me your weekend, giving me your time, and giving me your energy, and giving me your resources to bring together this room full of wonderful people. Thank you for feeling, and thank you for thinking about us. Being in the biggest state in the United States, in the richest country in the world, to be giving this girl, this old woman from Somaliland, the time of day is not lost upon me. And I really thank you very much. And God bless you all.